From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 6, streaming now.
Unfortunately, COVID is here to stay. We've lost our opportunity to completely diminish COVID.
A record for new COVID-19 cases in Indiana. We talk with an expert who shows us what to expect and how to prepare for the coronavirus moving forward.
A Whitestown mechanic is accused of keeping a vehicle for more than 2 years. I'm Kara Kenny with the action now underway.
This is a historical year. I mean, there's a lot of important issues on the ballot, and I want to make sure that my vote counts.
Why the latest ruling on mail-in absentee ballots is leading to frustration and confusion for some voters. We are working to make sure your vote counts.
And we are tracking Hurricane Delta, which is making landfall there across Louisiana. How this storm will move and how it could impact our forecast this weekend.
Good Friday evening. Welcome into the news at 6 on WRTV. I'm Amanda Starrentino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. First tonight, a single-day record for additional COVID-19 cases in Indiana. The State Department of Health reports 1,832 additional cases of the coronavirus. That's 344 more new cases than the state confirmed yesterday. A total of nearly 131,500 people in Indiana have been diagnosed with COVID-19. The Department of Health says that 1,187 people in Indiana are currently hospitalized with either COVID-19 or similar symptoms that could eventually turn out to be the coronavirus. Those numbers that we really haven't seen since May. The state says 30% of Indiana's ICU beds are available. That's down from the more than 32% yesterday. We have significantly more new COVID-19 cases in the state, and we are about 2 weeks removed from Governor Eric Holcomb's decision to move to Stage 5 of Indiana's reopening plan. So I spoke with Kristen Kelly, an epidemiologist and nursing director of infection prevention at IU Health, about the state of COVID-19 in Indiana and what you should know.
We're seeing some upticks in all areas. So hospitalizations are starting to go up across the state. New cases are at an all-time high. Deaths are starting to trickle up a little bit. So these are all, I think, concerning things, but they're not shocking. The reason I say that is because we are on Stage 5 reopening plan. So we have a lot of activity around the state, and that could play a role in these, this increase in cases. So we should expect it and not be surprised. I think we're going to have to be doing multiple dances where we reopen and then maybe tailor back as we cycle through COVID. Unfortunately, COVID is here to stay. We've lost our opportunity to completely diminish COVID. But what we can do right now is really control the levers as to how fast it spreads and how quickly. We know that there's a few different hot spots, some of the college campuses, restaurants and bars, anywhere that people are indoors, close quarters for extended periods of time are eligible to become super spreader events. So this is where COVID likes to spread. Close contact, unmasked. COVID can linger in the air for even a few hours after someone with COVID has come through the room. So the more people that you are around, unmasked, the more likely that we could see these spreading events. The fresh air is good because COVID can dissipate with the fresh air, and the wind being outdoors is a great thing. So the more that we can do those outdoor activities and take advantage of the weather right now, the better.
Kristen Kelly also says everyone should wear a mask and continue to practice social distancing. She says masks are what allows us to do the normal things in the middle of this unprecedented time, and that they are one of the key tools to slow the spread of coronavirus. You can watch my entire interview with Kristen Kelly of IU Health. She has even more important tips you should see. That's up right now on the homepage of WRTV.com and on the WRTV app.
More fallout from COVID-19. First-time claims for unemployment benefits in Indiana continue to go up. For the week that ended October 3rd, nearly 11,200 Hoosiers filed for regular unemployment benefits for the first time. The week before that, more than 10,200 people in Indiana filed for benefits. And it's clear the pandemic has hit the job market hard, but Hiring Hoosiers is here to find companies that are still looking for new employees. And we are finding them. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com and look at the job board, or you can log onto Facebook and look at the Hiring Hoosiers page.
You have had their vehicle for 2 years.
Yes, yes.
Imagine taking your car to a mechanic and waiting to the tune of 2 years to get it back. A Whitestown auto mechanic is accused of taking way too long to finish jobs. WRTV Investigates tracked him down on behalf of upset customers to find out what happened and what he plans to do next. Our Kara Kenny joins us now with how you can protect yourself and your vehicle.
They say good things come to those who wait, but Joe and John Carey are tired of waiting. They say this Whitestown mechanic has had their truck for 2 years. In the fall of 2018, Joe and John Carey of Illinois were looking for a mechanic.
I needed a new engine for my truck because I didn't want to buy a new truck.
They found SAE Machining, which in 2018 was located in Zionsville.
They specialized in the 5.7-liter F-150 engines that go bad.
John says he spoke with the owner, Eric Stanfield.
And I said, great. How long does it take? He said, I'll just order the engine, couple months. I said, that sounds really good. He said, I'll put all my own parts inside so this engine will work for a very long time.
John had the engine removed and the truck delivered to SAE Machining's location in Zionsville on October 24th, 2018. Records show John paid the business a total of $6,600 at the end of 2018.
I got the engine ordered. We're good to go. Didn't hear from him for 6 months. Crickets.
John says when he did get a hold of the owner, he got excuses. So John drove to SAE Machining and was shocked by what he saw.
The tire was flat. The inside was full of cobwebs. I lifted the hood. No engine. Absolutely nothing being done to it.
The couple hired Indianapolis attorney Andrew Alt, who specializes in consumer problems with auto dealers and mechanics.
Mechanics often do take vehicles into their shop and are unable to complete it. This has happened, but this is one of the worst cases I've seen.
In January 2020, SAE moved to this Whitestown location, and in July, Alt sent a legal demand letter to the machine shop. He asked the company to pay nearly $17,000, what the Careys paid for the engine work plus the value of the truck.
And even if you were to complete this at this point, it's too late. He's damaged my clients in the amounts of $17,000, and you just can't remedy that by, hey, here it is. 2 years later.
John says he's worried about damage to the truck while it was sitting outside for more than a year.
I want my money back, and I don't want the truck back. I'm at a wit's end. I don't know what to do. I'm out of truck, literally, for 2 years. That is crazy.
SAE Machining's owner responded to the demand letter by saying completing the Carey's truck by the end of August was his priority. But here we are in October, and the Careys still do not have their vehicle or money. We stopped by the Whitestown building and spotted the Carey's truck inside. After knocking a few times, we were about to leave when owner Eric Stanfield came outside.
Well, I've been on the phone with client.
He invited us in to show us the Carey's truck and told us it would be ready in a few days. You have had their vehicle for 2 years.
Yes, yes. I told them the last time that we spoke that unfortunately they weren't the only one that got into a situation where they were waiting quite a while. Because the problem is, over the last 2 or 3 years, work had built up because I decided to work alone.
The Better Business Bureau shows 3 complaints about SAE Machining taking a long time to complete work. Can you respond to those complaints as well?
It just all goes back to what I already said about overloading myself, somewhat purposely because I like the challenge of the large jobs. And most of the time, you would not see a shop this size with one person working inside.
Eric showed us the engine he says will be going into the Carey's truck and told us he's just waiting on one more part.
In a perfect world, in a shop like mine, who builds the engine start to finish, but has other employees to help, the job would still take approximately 3 to 4 weeks.
Eric's attorney told Andrew Alt via email that the Careys will have to pay more money, $2,600, before they can pick up the truck. They're saying, you know, we've waited 2 years for this vehicle to be finished. We don't think we should have to pay you any more money. What's your response?
I do understand that.
Eric says specialty bolts and fasteners were missing when the Carey's truck arrived. Is there anything that you can say to customers
that have waited a very long time to get their vehicles and still don't have their vehicles.
Well, obviously, I would apologize for the time frame and the fact that I did create this backlog of work.
Eric says he has whittled his backlog down to just 6 pending jobs. Meanwhile, John Carey had to purchase another vehicle.
But for many months, I was paying for a truck I couldn't drive. So it is paid off. I have the title. I'm willing to give him the title. I just want my money back.
A 2-year wait, a 2-year hassle. The Careys want other consumers to be aware. Working for you, Kara Kenny, WRTV.
Here are some tips to protect yourself. Understand your warranty. You may have to take your car to a specific mechanic. Also do your research. Ask friends and family who they trust. Get a written statement and get all guarantees in writing. Pay attention when you pick up your vehicle. Ask the service manager to go over it with you and explain all the work they did and the replacements they made. And also if they replaced any major parts, ask to see what they did. You should also ask the mechanic to explain any charges you do not understand. A former Hamilton County magistrate is facing disciplinary charges from a state panel. The Indiana Commission on Judicial Qualifications filed 2 counts of misconduct against William Paul Greenaway, who served as a Hamilton Superior Court magistrate. Greenaway was convicted of meth possession and resisting law enforcement stemming from his March 2019 arrest. He was fired. Greenaway has 20 days to file a response to the charges. He faces punishments ranging from a suspension to a permanent ban on holding a judicial office in Indiana.
In Democracy 2020, 4 days in, and there are still big numbers for early voting. Just take a look at this line here. Now, this is a glimpse of what the early voting turnout has looked like in Marion County at the City County building across the last 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and of course today. And check this out. These numbers are all Tuesday through Thursday data because today's final numbers are not yet available. Between Tuesday and Thursday in Marion County, 3,972 people have voted early in person. And tonight we are digging even deeper, finding out what the turnout has been in this first week of early voting and comparing that to the same time period in 2016. Tonight's example is Hamilton County. Tuesday through Thursday, Hamilton County saw 6,785 early voters. Compare that to 2016 over the same period. There were 2,503 early voters. That's an increase of more than 4,200 votes. That's how you can tell this election is so important to so many people.
Absentee ballots are now due at noon on Election Day. Previously, they could be counted if they were simply postmarked on November 3rd. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan explains some voters were skeptical about the change, choosing to vote in person instead.
Voters waited in line for about an hour and a half today to cast their ballots at early voting here at the City County building. Some of those voters had absentee ballots but decided last minute they'd rather vote in person.
When I mailed it in, they said I didn't check a box. So, because I called them, so they sent me another request form out, and I sent it back in, and I haven't seen nothing since.
Gregory Pettigrew tried to obtain an absentee ballot for this election, but after it didn't arrive, he decided he'd just vote in person.
I just go in and early vote and get it over with. That way my vote's already in, it's counted, and I know that I did it, so it's all good.
Pettigrew says the deadlines for when the ballot was due were also a bit confusing. A federal court stayed a decision to extend the deadline for mail-in ballots to reach their destination as long as they were postmarked by Election Day. However, that decision was appealed yesterday afternoon by Indiana Attorney General Curtis Hill. And now the original deadline stands. Mail-in ballots must reach election offices by noon on Election Day.
That's something that we had anticipated, that the requirement for people to hand deliver their ballots to the election board would be noon on Election Day.
Russell Hollis with the Marion County Clerk's Office says the change doesn't impact them that much because they can't start counting absentee ballots until Election Day anyways. He says it will take several days to complete the ballot count, but you'll still see preliminary results on November 3rd.
They're never final until we certify the election. And so whether it's 2020, 2016, or any other year, the results that you see on election night are not the official certified results.
Despite the confusion, some voters say the lengthy early voting lines has inspired them to consider absentee ballots for future elections.
I took off from work actually today to come and vote because I knew it would be a crowd, but I didn't imagine that it would be a crowd all the way around the building. I think from this point on, I will at least request a ballot.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, WRTV.
We did reach out to the Attorney General's office and asked if they were concerned the multiple changes in deadlines for absentee ballots could be viewed by people as voter suppression. And we are still waiting to hear back. An important note tonight, if you have filed for an application for an absentee mail-in ballot and haven't received that ballot yet, here's what you can do. The Marion County Clerk's Office tells us you can contact the County Election Board to have the ballot reissued, and you can vote in person as well. Those are your options. Right now, we have everything you need to know to get ready for the election on our website. That includes profiles on candidates and all the big races and the key dates and deadlines you need to be aware of. Again, that's all on our website at WRTV.com/election2020.
It is another warm one. We're sitting at 80 degrees in Indianapolis, and that warmth stretching back out into the Central Plains. I'll let you know when the fall feel will return.
And that carries over to a very nice night for high school football. Week 8, it feels like week 1. Several area teams trying to stay undefeated, including the Warriors from Covenant Christian. I'll talk with their head coach coming up on the news at 6.
Today, temperatures making their way into the 80s again. 83 degrees in Indianapolis. There you see the average high. 68, so way above where we should be for this time of year, and we're still at 80 degrees even as those clouds continue to build into the area. You got 84 in Lafayette, 81 in Bloomington. It has been breezy, still that south breeze in Indy at 20 miles per hour, and that'll be the main issue here for high school football games this evening. We'll still have that breeze, but temperatures, they are mild. We are in the 70s right on through 10 o'clock this evening. But the dry stretch, that also continues for us. Now a record 52 days in Indianapolis, where we have had less than 1/10 of an inch of rain in the gauge. Of course, we didn't have anything in the gauge today. What we're kind of hanging our hopes on is this system that now is making landfall, Delta there, into portions of Louisiana. As it makes its way toward the northeast, the model's continuing to kind of suppress it off toward the south and east of central Indiana, so we may not see very much, if any, rainfall from that system. More on that in a second, but tonight we will stay dry and mild with temperatures around 60 degrees. And your Saturday planning forecast, we're going to have some more clouds across the area. It will be a little breezy once again into the afternoon, but temperatures still making their way around 80. There's a look at some of those wind gusts. Breezy into the morning. Those winds will start to taper off a little bit as we go into our Saturday evening, with your high 82 in Muncie, 83 in Lafayette, and right around 80 in Indy and the Columbus area. On Sunday, we have the clouds. Again, about a 20% chance of a shower. Best chance for some of that wet weather around Bedford, Seymour, and toward Columbus. Otherwise, we are dry with numbers still not bad here into the 70s. Check out your 7-day planning forecast now. We got a better chance for some showers and even a few thunderstorms on Monday with a cold front. That will bring in some cooler air as we go through the rest of the week. Temperatures topping out in the 70s, and it looks like by next Friday, it'll certainly feel like fall and football out there with temperatures only topping out in the 60s. But Brad Brown, you get to dress light tonight for those football games.
At least while the sun is up, Kyle. Indeed, we just got the short sleeve tonight. Zionsville West Middle School is the home field for the Covenant Christian Warriors. Next to last week of the regular season. Weeks. As a matter of fact, they had the sectional pairings drawn back on Thursday evening, just last night. So that, but we'll get to that. As for tonight, let's get a look at getting their warm-ups here tonight. Season coming in here, scoring more than 52 on Park Tudor. Earlier this season, dynamic playmakers on this team, including young man Micah Wilson is number 2 on your highlights here for Covenant. He ran some big plays for him over the course of the last couple of weeks. As a matter of fact, this will be one of their biggest challenges coming into this as they take on a Park Tudor team that has 4 wins in their first 7 games, but they'll have an opportunity to see what they've got here tonight. And again, both of these teams coming up in a couple of weeks will be getting into the tournament, and we're looking forward to seeing the sectionals get started here tonight. Covenant's one of these teams trying to get to 8-0 tonight. We're also trying to see if Center Grove can get to 8-0. The Trojans have their toughest test in the mix so far this season. They take on Lawrence North. Our Dave Merrill will be heading over to that game, and we will see that one for you coming up tonight on the news at 11. Another team trying to stay unbeaten is Danville. They missed a couple of games because of teams missing out with some COVID quarantine, so Danville's trying to get to 6-0. They play up at Western Boone, the defending 2A state champs. We'll look at that one for you also coming up tonight at 11. So we're looking forward to that. But as Kyle said, nice night out here. Certainly, as the sun goes down, it's going to cool off. We got a little breeze out here, but we're looking forward to seeing how this one turns out for you this evening. The Colts are getting set for week number 5 as they make a trip to Cleveland this weekend, and it will be a couple of guys not in the lineup that the Colts really could use. Among them, Darius Leonard, a linebacker, out with a groin injury. Anthony Costanzo, the offensive lineman, is out as well. We will see if the Colts are able to piece that one together as they and the Browns both 3-1 on the season. And we'll see if Indy can extend their winning streak to 4 against a Cleveland team that has quite a bit of momentum. And we got some more hoops for you coming up tonight here on WRTV. It's game number 5 of the NBA Finals. The Lakers trying to close it out against the Heat. LA with a 3-1 series lead. We'll see if they can get it done. NBA Countdown starts at 8:30, and game number 5 starts for you tonight at 9 o'clock. We'll see you then. News at 6 continues next.
Some mild mornings and warm afternoons making for a very nice weekend here. Just that isolated chance for a shower going into Sunday. A little better chance of rain with a cold front on Monday. Possibly a couple of thunderstorms in that mix as well. We'll keep highs in the upper 70s there. It gets a little bit cooler, a little more seasonable for much of the week ahead before we drop off to 61 by Friday.
Thanks for joining us. World News Tonight with David Muir is next, and then join us again for the news at 7.